Hey, this ground stuff is Turmeric. Well, y'all, welcome back to Red River Living. As you can see right here, we are in the kitchen today. We are running on our umpteenth day of 100+ degree heat. Stuff out in the garden is just literally burning up right now. So we are, I've gone out and picked peppers out of the garden. We had some serranos. They're all different kind of peppers. I don't even know what all I planted this year. But we also have a bunch of habanero peppers this year that we're going to be dealing with. And today we are going to be making cowboy candy. In the process of that though, what I wanted y'all to know was the fact of just the sheer amount of heat that we've had here that we finally decided that we're going to have to do something in the house today. We were going to do something outside as far as a video, but we decided we were going to come in the house, and our neighbors, we've given this away to several different people and they really enjoyed this recipe. We'll share the recipe down at the bottom. We'll have some kind of information for y'all to get to this recipe. It's not a family recipe. It's a recipe that Debbie found offline that we used last year. And everybody in the house, I say everybody, some of us in the house like hot stuff and some of us in the house don't like hot stuff. So I've given it to the neighbors. I'm hoping to get some hot enough for the neighbors to tell me that it was too hot to eat, to be honest with you. I gave him some stuff one time and he said, boy, that was delicious. He said, but there wasn't no heat in it. And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't eat it. It was that hot. And he was making fun of me, the fact I told him it was too hot for me to eat. So hopefully, that's why I planted these habaneros. They don't look quite like the ones in the grocery store look, but that's what I planted from the store. So I may see if I can, I may nibble on, see if it's how hot it is, just see if I can, I may man up and try that just to see. But anyway, you see we've got our peppers piled up here. We're going to go through this. First thing we're going to do, we've already washed these up and got them cleaned up. So now we're just going to go in and cut the top side of them and probably going to de-seed most all of this since we do have the habaneros today. The thing about cutting them in half is you won't get... One of the things I wanted to add in here, you know, I've grown some of these peppers, and last year our peppers really, it was the fall harvest, I would have to say, that really just took off. So what I want y'all to know here is that if you want to do this, you can actually go to the store and buy your peppers at the grocery store, just come home, wash them up, and then make this recipe up yourself to be able to make stuff like this. Which in turn, you know, if you wanted to go to the store when stuff's on sale and buy it and then come home and process it and put it up, you know, some people live in the city, you just don't have a spot that you can garden in. So that's kind of an idea to throw out there to y'all to keep in mind that, you know, just because you don't have a place to grow a garden, don't mean that you can't put stuff up and have fresh food throughout the year. You just got to do some research, learn how to process it, and hey, you too can do this. You don't have to have a garden.
I think I did a fine job on that batch.
I think you did too. Well, guys, here is the habanero peppers. And we've been debating in the kitchen, because I've had some assistants here. If y'all probably didn't notice, but I haven't cut all these up by myself. I've had Keely and Debbie in here helping cut up today. So I told them, I said, we gotta find out if these little dudes is hot or not.
What if these are sweet peppers?
We can only be so lucky, but
They don't look like a habanero.
It doesn't look like the ones I buy at the store, that's for sure, but
A little nibble. Oh, give us the verdict.
I can feel a little bit on the end of my tongue.
So we're gonna de-seed these, correct?
I ain't. I'm cutting them up. There's too much de-seeding to be done there. We may cut the seeds out of it. We're gonna have to cut them in half to do it though. Well, we finally got them all cut up right here. You see them piled up here in the pan. We've got all the peppers just mixed up, and we have got approximately 5.5 pounds. The recipe called for 5 to 6 pounds, so we're going to press on with the recipe and probably just mix all the ingredients up, just like it says there in the recipe, since we have over 5 pounds. Well, we've gotten all of our ingredients together. I thought this would be the easiest thing for me to do is just get everything out on the counter right here. Got my apple cider vinegar, got 2 cups of that. We've got 6 cups of sugar, and found a bowl big enough for all that to fit in. We've got our celery seed, our mustard seed here, our ground turmeric, and then garlic powder.
Turmeric? What is it, Dad?
What did I call it? I thought I said, what did I say, turmeric? Turmeric? Hey, this ground stuff is Turmeric. 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 We'll get that off the end of the tongue eventually. And we got our garlic powder right here. So what we're going to do with this stuff is I'm going to put everything over here on the stove. We're going to heat it up, bring it to a boil. Then we'll add our peppers, bring it back to a boil, and go from there. So here's our mustard seed. I got my assistant here helping me right now. So he's going to pour stuff in. I already added the liquid in there, which was our apple cider vinegar. All right, Bradley, go ahead and put the mustard seed in there. Okay, just set that down beside you there. All right, garlic powder. Turmeric. Can you say that, Riley? Turmeric?
Turmeric.
Good job.
Is this it?
Yeah, don't waste none of it now. Celery seed. Okay. Let me see what we got going here. Stir that around a little bit. Just like our garlic kind of plumped on us, but we'll get it. What's the matter with your nose? Don't cover your nose up. Whew, that's some strong stuff. All right. Papa's probably going to have to help with the sugar here.
Wait 2 minutes, sugar.
What we'll do is we'll add some of it and I'll stir it around. How's that? Oh, where they were, I quit cutting those up. I thought it was going to get really hot if we kept adding all those peppers in there. So we got everything in here in a pot, and I'm going to stir it around, and we're going to bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, then it's going to simmer for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, we'll add our peppers to it, and then bring them back to a boil. Okay, so our ingredients have come to a boil. We've let it simmer for 5 minutes, and now we're about to start adding our peppers back to this. We'll bring that to a boil, and it'll simmer for 5 minutes before we get ready to jar it. All right, Riley, just got to get it over the thing. We don't miss nothing. All right.
You want it all in there?
Yeah, all of it.
We dropped one.
I will pick it up.
It's right there.
Okay, I'll get it. You probably ought to bite that one, don't you think?
Nope.
No, no, sir.
Got it.
All right, let me have the sink. We can give that over to the sink. Thanks, sir. So we've added all of our peppers right here. I'm stirring it around, just kind of get it mixed in real good. Woo, I got a little smell of that. That got a little heat smell to it maybe already. May run inside of the kitchen, might run inside of the house. All right, we just got to bring it to a boil now. So guys, it's come to a boil now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lid off of our our water bath or jars at, and I'm going to put the lid on this. I'm going to turn it down to low. Then we're going to set a timer and let it simmer for 5 minutes. So what we got going on right here now is jars have been heated up. They've been in the oven. We've removed our peppers from the heat. But all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get the peppers out into the jars. We're going to put this back on the stove and then bring it back to a boil, and then we'll put the liquid in the jars at that point. So right now all I'm going to be trying to do, use a slotted spoon, and I'm just going to try to get the peppers out. You know, I'm going to get some liquid, but I'm not going to get too much. So what I'm doing here is just trying to tapping the peppers down just a little bit so I can add some more to the jars. So we've got our pint jars sitting here. We ended up with the amount of peppers that we had. We've got about 7 pints here. You know, I got a couple that's not quite, that hold just a little bit more, but I don't think I could eliminate 1 jar. So I'm just gonna leave it like I have right here. I'm gonna have maybe 7 pint jars. We've put our liquid back on the stove at this time. We bring it back to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, then we just add it back to our jars, keeping our 1/2 inch head space in the jar. Then we've got our lids. We'll put our lids on and then go back to the water bath with them. So what I'm doing right here is putting the liquid back in them, and I'm leaving approximately a 1/2 inch head space in the top of them. Could be just a hair bit more, I'm not sure, but we're right at that 1/2 inch head space is what it called for. So aerated the jars, and I've got the extra liquid here. So I'm just going to add to them, bring them back up to about a 1/2 inch there. You want to be sure and wipe your lids or your top of your jars off really good here. And this is almost, with all that sugar we had added to it, it really makes a syrup, so things are kind of sticky. So just be sure and get your little paper towel rag and a little vinegar and wipe them off. So we've got our lids on. We're fixing to move these over to the water bath where they'll process for 15 minutes. Debbie, can this water be boiling over here when I put them in? They're hot. Jars are hot. I can't hold them. What about the level of water? Okay, so I'll probably have to add water then? Maybe not. They're coming up. So once you add your jars back to your water bath here, you want to be sure and cover your jars with about 1 inch of water. And then these are, once they come to a boil, we'll process them for 15 minutes. Well, y'all, we've been going about 15 minutes here. We had set a timer. The timer's gone off. I'm going to go ahead and just turn this off right here. Our jars were covered real good with water still. And now all we have to do is get them out. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video here at Red River Living. We put up some Cowboy candy. We ended up with 7-pint jars. You know, it's one of those things you can have on the side that, you know, you're eating beans or eating a sandwich or whatever, and it's just nice to have the condiments to add to the side of it. And sometimes that makes the meal. We're going to link this recipe in the bottom. Guys, as always, we appreciate y'all watching. And if y'all would, like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.